There is no doubt that the Sonic movie is one of the greatest redemption stories of 2019. You may recall that the original trailer presented a version of the character that looks like a demon spawn from hell that haunts your nightmares. And then after the backlash, the movie studio went back to the drawing board and redesigned Sonic to actually resemble the endearing character we all grew up with. The original design was seemingly based off of Sonic with an A. Apparently, they confused Sonic with the real Sonic with an O, but everything got sorted out in the end, and this is what Sonic looks like now. Much better, obviously. Unfortunately, all of this seems to have come at a cost, as there is some unfortunate news out there about the animation studio responsible for the Sonic redesign. The following information was relayed by Canadian news outlet CBC. You can see the headline right here. Reads, one of Vancouver's biggest players in film animation shutters weeks before Christmas. Moving picture company announces closure in email to staff, citing external market pressures. So Moving Picture Company, this animation studio based in Vancouver, is largely responsible for the new Sonic redesign that we have now, and unfortunately, that animation studio no longer exists. It's been closed down, and the reasoning behind that was cited in this email that's been leaked and sent to staff. This reads, Dear all, it is with regret we announce today that our Vancouver studio will cease operations effective immediately and refocus its geographical presence to other locations. This decision has not been taken lightly. However, increasing external market pressures in Vancouver and more attractive opportunities in other locations have created a challenging environment for us to sustain the studio. MPC Film and Technicolor's VFX brands, including Mill Film, Mr. X, and Micros, will continue to grow and expand in Montreal, Paris, Adelaide, LA, and Toronto. Additionally, 2020 will also see us launch MPC's and Mill Film's new episodic divisions. The Vancouver facility opened in 2007 with a core team of artists working on Zack Snyder's Watchmen. By 2013, the studio grew to more than 800 artists, winning several accolades, including an Academy Award for its work on Ang Lee's Life of Pi. We're extremely proud of the hard work and dedication of our team over the past 12 years to make Vancouver a large part of the MPC network. Further detailing the situation is the LA Times, which added the following excerpt. About 80 employees will be immediately affected by the closure, according to a person familiar with the situation who was not authorized to comment. Citing competitive pressures, the company told affected employees they'll get the opportunity to join MPC or other parts of the company in other locations. So it would seem as though some employees will be losing their jobs, others might get transferred over to other divisions of this company, but the Vancouver studio is no more, and it's certainly an upending of many of these people's lives who might have to relocate or who might be losing jobs outright. And then here we have an article from outlet Cartoon Brew, which further detailed the situation. So this excerpt talks about the MPC Vancouver studio, which reads, the MPC Vancouver team most recently played a significant role in the much talked about redesign of the main character in Paramount's upcoming Sonic the Hedgehog. This studio also largely contributed to the production of Pokemon Detective Pikachu. As it says right here, the studio produced the majority of the VFX shots on the movie, and we all know how good that turned out. So it's very clear that these guys do great work, and it sucks to see so much talent just go down the drain like this and go through these harsh times. Now here's something interesting. Apparently an ex-employee of Moving Picture Company Vancouver posted on Reddit to talk about their experience with this whole situation and what it's been like over the past few months behind the scenes, creating these visual effects for various projects. So here's what this excerpt looks like. Now, something to keep in mind is that the Reddit post has since been deleted. Hard to say whether there were inaccuracies with the information relayed here or if the ex-employee feared getting into legal trouble or something. Anyway, here's what was originally posted. Quote, we have all put in extreme hours wrapping 2 infamous projects in the last couple of months. It is assumed that one of those infamous projects is Sonic the Hedgehog, and that the other might be something like Cats, which this studio was also working on. This is just speculation, but both of those projects are pretty infamous, particularly where visual effects are concerned. And then this excerpt continues, "We have done multiple weeks without a day off, regular 17-plus hour shifts to the point that most of us are seriously sleep deprived and are suffering still. We have worked really fucking hard to get this work out the door for MPC, and I'm genuinely ashamed that they are happier prioritizing their profit margins and tax incentives over the insane talent and commitment of hundreds of dedicated VFX artists in Vancouver. I honestly feel insulted, like I've given MPC my all, and in return they gave me the finger. Good luck to all of the other insanely talented artists at MPC currently employed in other locations, because the second another location becomes more attractive, you could be next on the chopping block." So you can see in the email sent out to staff that the company talks about expanding to this other regions and these various divisions while they shut down the Vancouver studios. And it flat out says right here that there are more attractive opportunities in other locations, and that seems to have been a primary reason for shutting down the Vancouver studio. It doesn't seem like it's financially untenable, it's just there are more profits to be gained by focusing on other locations. The parent company clearly has a lot of resources and manpower, and they have all of these plans to expand, and at the same time they're shutting down this studio that has done so much great work. They say external market pressures, but who knows what that really means. This employee seems to think that this has all more to do with profit margins and tax incentives, which I wouldn't be surprised if this were really the case. That's how these major companies operate. It's all about the money. These companies seldom have an issue with sacrificing human livelihoods over making an extra buck or relocating to more financially ideal places. It also sucks to hear about the crunch that might have been involved behind the scenes, crunch that involved multiple weeks without a day off, regular 17-hour shifts, and sleep deprivation, among other things. I'm not sure how much of that was a part of the Sonic the Hedgehog movie project and the redesign for that, but it is assumed that by two infamous projects, one of them may very well be that Sonic movie. Now, this Reddit user did add additional clarification to the situation, stating the following: "Apologies. To clarify, I didn't mean everyone was doing 17-plus hour days every day for a week straight, but that we were working with no days off for a week straight with plenty of 17-plus hour shifts thrown in the mix, sometimes 3 or 4 in a row though. Very rarely were people doing less than 10 hours in a day. If you wanted to leave after your 8 hours, you had to ask permission to go home. Didn't want to work overtime at the weekend, you had to give a satisfactory reason as to why you couldn't do it, or they'd label it an unauthorized absence. I can't speak for everyone, but I obliged with requests because I felt if I didn't, I'd be quickly replaced by someone who is willing to do the hours, be that for the experience or IMDb credit or whatever. That happened to 2 or 3 people while I was there. The thing about a lot of these big companies is that they'll tout that employees have the option of whether they want to stay longer than their designated hours, whether they want to work for longer than they normally would. But they never mention the unspoken pressures and consequences that come with an employee choosing to leave right on time rather than staying and doing overtime. There's always this behind-the-scenes pressure where employees feel as though they might be replaced, seen as someone who doesn't work as hard and therefore won't get ahead in the company. There are unspoken consequences. They're never explicitly mentioned, but they are there, and they aren't just a fear, they are also a reality, and we've seen this happen a lot in the games industry with employees and developers who are overworked by these major publishers, and this ex-employee of this Vancouver animation studio claims that something similar happened in this company. Now, there are some conflicting reports on this. News outlet IndieWire here published an article a month ago on November 18th, 2019, in which they claimed that not only did the Sonic redesign not cost nearly as much as the rumors out there, it also claimed that animators and visual effects artists did not suffer as a result of this. So as far as the cost for the redesign goes, here's what IndieWire reported. One tweet alleging the redesign cost $35 million and brought the film's total budget up to $125 million has gone viral with over 10,000 retweets. It turns out that number is outrageously high compared to what Paramount actually spent on the change. A source close to the Sonic Hedgehog production estimates the character redesign cost Paramount less than $5 million. But more relevant to today's story is this excerpt, which reads, quote, "The source tells IndieWire that any rumor alleging the redesign made the Sonic VFX team suffer is far from true." And then right here is a tweet posted by the director of the Sonic movie himself, Jeff Fowler, who said, "Taking a little more time to make Sonic just right," referring to the months-long delay. And then here we have a hashtag that reads, "No visual effects artists were harmed in the making of this movie." So on one hand, we have an anonymous Reddit poster who claims to be an ex-employee of moving picture company and who also claims that there was some rough goings-ons behind the scenes involving crunch and long hours, and expressing discontent at the way the parent company shut down this studio while focusing on other locations and other divisions. And then on the other hand, we have news outlets like IndieWire reporting from sources that visual effects artists involved in the Sonic movie didn't suffer, that rumors alleging that are far from true. And we also have the director himself saying that they're going out of their way to ensure that no visual effects artists are harmed in the making of this movie by delaying the project. Now, this Reddit poster did say that they can't speak for everyone, so maybe experience at the company varies from individual to individual or from department to department. Maybe some departments or employees were made to work harder than others. Maybe the source denying rumors that the Sonic VFX team suffered during the redesign process is someone who happened to be in a department that wasn't crunched as hard, or happened to be an employee who wasn't crunched as hard. Or we could be looking at a situation in which one side is BSing. Maybe this Reddit poster isn't really an ex-MPC Vancouver employee, or maybe the source that relayed this information to IndieWire wasn't being truthful about what was really going on behind the scenes. Or perhaps the truth lies somewhere in between. It's hard to say for sure without actually being there. It's hard to say 100% with certainty what the working environment was like, especially for the people involved in the Sonic movie redesign. Now, from what I gather, it doesn't seem like Jeff Fowler, the director, and the core Sonic movie team had much to do with what happened with this other animation studio that they outsourced the Sonic redesign to. It seems to me as though they tried their best to mitigate workload by delaying the movie, but this company, moving picture company, the executives and the managers there were the ones who might be more responsible for the way employees might have been overworked, assuming that these allegations are true. Now, I should emphasize that it's entirely possible that this anonymous Reddit post is complete BS, given that it was deleted shortly after it was posted. But at the same time, it wouldn't surprise me if there are a lot of cases of employees being overworked at these visual effects and animation studios. I don't want to dismiss this Reddit post because what's being highlighted here certainly isn't implausible. But as far as the crunch stuff goes, that's all rumors and speculation. All we know for now, for sure, is that the studio behind the Sonic movie redesign, the visual effects company that pretty much saved the Sonic movie, has indeed been shut down, and I get the sense that this closure also has nothing to do with Jeff Fowler and the core Sonic movie team, because this is a company that they outsource to, and what happens within the company and things like closures isn't something that Jeff Fowler and team are directly associated with. It's just an unfortunate circumstance here that this happened while the Sonic movie was in development. So this just sucks all around. I know it is worth celebrating the fact that the Sonic movie redesign turned out so well, but it's also important to acknowledge the people who worked on it, and the fact that these people are now in a precarious situation due to greed from the higher-ups or mismanagement from the people managing the employees here. Whatever the reasons might be, this is just a crappy situation, and I hope that the talented people at the studio eventually land on their feet, that they find a way to pick themselves back up and continue doing great work in their field. So that's today's story, folks, and these are one man's take on this whole situation. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts and opinions are on Moving Picture Company, the animation studio that saved the Sonic movie and that did a great job with the redesign, closing down all of a sudden. And to be further updated on all things gaming news, reviews, and discussions, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.